Hello. In my tour d'Europe, I'm now going to be leaving Lisbon and go on. But today, I'm not going to put any more videos of the trip online. I have more to say about things I touched on before. First of all, Joyce Wriston is W-R-I-S-T-O-N. That's her real name now, I'm quite sure. Sorry that I had that wrong. Shirley found that for me, and I'll tell you more about Shirley. The Brazil's northeast is where I spent 3 years in the Peace Corps, and as I said before, that's where I learned to speak Portuguese, and that period, those 3 years, affected me profoundly. Wayne Frost. And one other thing now. Yesterday I was wearing overalls instead of that gorgeous weaving that you'd seen before. Well, that was a statement. I should have said something about it. The overalls are me. I was going to say that I dressed up for the occasion because they were brand new. They weren't even dirty. So in a sense I dressed up. But my shirt was torn and they're overalls. I am very much closer connected to the craftsmen who did the work at the National Palace in Sintra than I am to the people who bought that work. So anyway, that's more me. And the flea market, I'll tell you about that in a moment. Wayne Frost, I left his name on here because I dug through some stuff and I found some of his work. He was working, I was working in Capital de Rocha. He was working in a nearby city called Patos, and he had a cooperative, and they wooden bowls. They would take wooden bowls that were traditional, handmade, and paint them and sell them. I don't know what became of his cooperative, but I brought a few of them back with me, and wooden spoons. But I had said that I want to make sure you can see that, so I'll just move it. And hopefully you can find some spot where it will focus. I wanted you to see that. I had said that Wayne is an artist. He certainly is. In digging through the stuff, I also came across some hedgie hooks. These are, hedgie means hammock. And when I came back from the Peace Corps, I brought various things with me, mementos you might call them. And these hedgie hooks, again, I don't know if you can see, but of course they're hand done. You know, the blacksmiths they split it, and they, in the Northeast, they were doing all this stuff by hand, and they were in the process of being eliminated by modern industry, which was part of my subject in that poem, The Saint. Other mementos that I found, these are actually blankets for on donkeys or horses underneath saddle blankets, I guess you'd call them. Hand woven, of course, and made to be pretty, but very functional. That was their purpose. Here's another one, slightly different. I'll dig through that stuff later and maybe show you more. But the northeast of Brazil is not really my subject. And still one other thing I'll show you before I get to my main subject is this weaving. Now this is so gorgeous. There was a flea market, or there maybe still is a flea market in here. I'll hold it up high in Lisbon. And this last trip I didn't go to it. I imagine it's still there. But at that flea market back in 1971, I think it was, that I was there, my traveling companion and I went to it, and we bought 2 of these blankets. Hand woven, I think. I don't know. I'm not enough of a weaver to tell you for sure, but I think they must be hand woven. And gorgeous, I think. So I wanted to show you those. Not done by Joyce Wriston, but weaving was my subject, and the trades will be ever more and more will become my subject. Okay, but today my main subject is Shirley Hockling. I'm going to call her my producer. She's also an extremely good friend. I've talked about her before, but I don't think I can praise her enough. She made these videos possible. It's as simple as that. She was the producer. I'd never met her, but she was already my friend when I went to make this trip, and I had great misgivings about making this trip, as long as it was. And as old as I was, I just didn't know if I could really do it, and she encouraged me. She got me to do it, and of course I met her in Hamburg, and then at the end I met her again. I had the feeling, I said through emailing, I had said to her at one point, what if I get sick on this trip? And I honestly think that she would have gotten in her car and driven however far it took to get me if I had been sick. She encouraged me to do this. But more important to you is that I was not going to film very much. I just wanted to look, to be reminded. And she convinced me that I should film a lot. So I took 2 cameras with me, not just one. And I think of her especially in Lisbon, because I began to get into trouble with running out of memory and recharging the cameras. I had not thought of that. And Erica and I had found a internet cafe, sort of. Lisbon is, the Portuguese are not rich, and so it's not quite as easy as in other places. But we had found one, and there I was able to contact Shirley, my producer, and she guided me. I think you call this a USB stick, I think. She made it clear that I was going to have to get something like this, and coached me through the buying of it. I'm not very smart about computers. I think we were in Seville before I actually bought that. Shirley is Tom Hockling's wife. Now, if you've followed these videos, you've seen him playing on 2 or 3 occasions. He's a wonderful musician, a guitarist. A blues and all. Blues, there's an S right there. Blues and All is his channel on YouTube, his YouTube channel. And if you like his music, I highly recommend it. But anyway, back to Shirley. One of the best friends I ever had, to be honest. And I just, even though you don't see her, I think you will see her in these videos at the end, or when we're back in Hamburg. But even if you don't see her, she is steadily there all the time. She has made this possible. Shirley, thank you. See you next time.